Welcome to the Sound-Centric Podcast. I am your host, Adam Dash, and today I am joined by someone who I've talked to on Twitter for what seems like the past 3 years, one of the big authority figures on hip-hop Twitter, our favorite community, Mavi. Welcome to the show.
What's up? Thank you so much for the invite, man. I've been waiting for this invite, to be honest. After I saw Joey was getting on here, I was like, it's my time now.
Yeah, it's your time to shine. Before we get into the Grammys, because I'm very excited to talk about that, I'm curious, is there a different view of hip-hop in Portugal than there are in the States, where are some artists looked at as a better artist and where you're from than maybe what United States people think of rappers?
To be honest, can you repeat the question?
So is Kendrick, Drake, and Cole, are they regarded as the best three rappers in Portugal, or is that more of like an American notion?
So here, the rapper that's considered the best is easily Eminem.
Okay.
Mostly all over the country, they all think Eminem is the best, and obviously Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Drake also get a lot of love, but they're not seen as good as Eminem.
Yeah, I honestly think that's a whole worldwide thing.
Yeah, that's why in my opinion, Eminem is overrated, because if you go outside of America, if you go outside of the people that actually know hip hop and actually study hip hop and actually listen to hip hop on a daily basis, like Eminem is just their GOAT.
That's a hot take you got there, because I think every person who really loves hip hop goes through an Eminem phase at some point in their life. Usually it's earlier in life, and you get really into like lyrics.
Yeah,
but I think that those first three albums, they cemented him.
No, for sure. Those three albums are amazing, classic albums. But in terms of the rest of his discography, in terms of longevity, he doesn't hold up to rappers like Nas or Jay-Z, in my opinion. But
yeah, I can understand it.
Yeah,
we all look at it differently. But to get into the big topic of the week, something that angers everyone like no thing. Even though we all hate it, we still give it so much power. The Grammys happened this past Sunday. And before we break down all the specific hip-hop winners, categories, what we thought should have changed, what are your thoughts of the Grammys?
Listen, so like you said, it's hard. The Grammys, in my opinion, is something that is very important if you win it. As an artist, if you win it, it's an amazing moment. Look at what happened to Killer Mike. I think the streams on his albums increased by 700%. It was the biggest night of his life career-wise. So it can definitely be an impact to certain artists. Obviously, to some others, it doesn't matter that much. I think for Drake, it wouldn't matter much to him. So it depends a bit of the artist in that perspective. But I still think it's really important. But still, it shouldn't dictate what our opinions are. Like if we think that's the best album, then it's the best album. Doesn't matter if it didn't win a Grammy. So, and also, just because an album didn't win a Grammy doesn't lose any value.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to have, but it's not the end all be all, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to describe it. Awesome if you win, cool to talk about, but we all know that certain albums haven't made that stage yet. There definitely are some changes that have to happen to the awards. I think No ID does work with the Grammys for hip-hop, but the hip-hop not being shown on live TV angers me so much because, for one, hip-hop's one of the most popular genres. I feel like people want to see who won that award. Like, I told my parents that it was already announced, and they're like, really? Like, even they were surprised, and they don't like hip-hop. I just think... And Hove started talking about it in that speech. He's like how Will Smith boycotted, and he didn't really finish his point fully. But hip-hop deserves to be on the main show. There's no reason why it shouldn't be mentioned.
It's the bigger genre. It's the bigger genre in the world. Doesn't make any sense.
Like, they did do an award for Latin artists, which is awesome for Latin artists. But I'm like, really? They didn't talk about hip-hop, but they talked about Latin artists. Which, no disrespect, they're great artists. Karol G, shout out to her and her win. But I was like, damn. No hip-hop. That's crazy.
Karol G is big. She's doing big moves.
So to get into the specific awards, we'll break down who was nominated, who won, and our thoughts on maybe if some artists or songs should have made it instead. First, we have Best Rap Performance, which I don't even know what that means based on the artist and songs they chose. The winner was Killer Mike, Scientists and Engineers, featuring Future and Andre 3000. And the other nominees were Coi Leray, Players, big TikTok song, Drake and 21, Rich Flex, great song, Black Thought, Love Letter, and I have a hot take about this song. I'm not a fan of it. Baby Keem and Kendrick, the Hillbillies. That song was made as a joke, was just them having fun. For it to have been nominated for a Grammy, to me makes no sense. But also this
Facts.
award,
Facts.
Becca, you support me? It was
Facts.
fine. I didn't like it that much.
To me, that song being nominated for Best Rap Performance just really shows the bias they have towards certain artists.
It
Like, they
does.
love these Kendricks, they love these lyrical, like, machines, and of course they're amazing. But the Hillbillies is a cover to a Drake song.
Yeah,
And to be honest, it's not even better than the Drake song. But that's
it's
debatable,
not.
but still, it's not the best rap performance, shouldn't be top 5, shouldn't be anywhere
Should
near
not.
that conversation.
They made it as like a joke. Like you can tell they kind of just freestyled it. So, and you touched on how certain artists are awarded more at the Grammys. And it's interesting that no hip hop album is ever nominated for Album of the Year, which a
Hmm.
lot of the albums that are usually nominated for Album of the Year are pop albums that aren't actually written by the artist who performed those albums. And hip hop is such a personal
Adam, I
genre.
love that. I love that you brought that up. If you know what happened in the Grammys, the only two times a hip hop album ever won Album of the Year was twice
Yeah,
with
go word.
Outkast's Speaker Box, The Love Below,
Yeah,
and Miss Lauryn Hill, The
yes.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And if you analyze those albums, they're not even like fully rap albums. Like, they're
Yeah,
very experimental. They have a lot of singing. So to me, that just shows that they don't value pure hip hop, pure rap lyricism, in the matter that it's enough to win a Grammy for Album of the Year, and
it makes
to compete with genres like pop, like, those mainstream genres.
yeah, it makes no sense, and I'm not sure who beat "To Pimp a Butterfly" for Album of the Year. I know Kendrick was nominated for
It was
that.
Taylor Swift, 1989.
Wow, like respect. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm sure there's hit songs on the album, but he dropped the best hip, debatably. But for me, I think it's the best hip hop album ever. But political wise, like the importance of that album, like Taylor just didn't write the songs on that album, or all the songs, and we have a man who wrote everything and was behind the production. It's very disappointing. But also, Kendrick's the only one they seem to nominate nowadays for Album of the Year. Cole can't get that nomination. Drake's not getting the nomination. Kanye's not getting the nomination. It's it's rough out
No,
here.
I don't know how Utopia wasn't considered for the best album of the year category. Oh my god! So last night I went on Spaces on Twitter
Uh
and
huh.
talked about people that are inside the industry, and Joey as well.
Yeah.
And there was a big discussion as to the Grammy categories and where should Travis Scott be placed in which category, and
Yes.
that
Yeah.
sparked a big discussion, a big conversation. So what do you think about that? Which category should Travis Scott be placed in?
So are you referring to like how there's a melodic rap performance and how there's straight rap performance? Or are you saying is Travis
Like,
not even
with
hip hop at all?
people's argument was the Grammys will always be biased towards more lyrical rap
Yes.
albums, and Travis will never win a Grammy if he keeps being placed in the rap album category. They saying he
Yeah.
should be placed in maybe pop, in maybe, I don't
Okay.
know, make.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I was thinking like R&B, that wouldn't make sense, but pop, it is kind of pop. That's interesting. I think it's very hard because, for one, you seem to have liked Utopia a lot. It was very disappointing to me.
Really.
At this point, I only listen to I Know. I didn't like it that much. But let's say, and it sucks. People say Astroworld was robbed. It like Swimming or Daytona should have won. I didn't think. I love Astroworld. I think it's a classic album. That was a hard year. That was probably the best hip hop nominations we've ever had because that was Cardi has like the highest selling album ever. Whatever about that. Swimming, right up there. It's one of the best albums ever. Daytona, one of the best albums ever. Astroworld, and you have Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle. So you had two artists who had passed away with their final albums. You had Pusha T bringing back that boom bap hard. That was a hard year. I don't think he was robbed. Do you think he was
They
robbed?
gave it to the worst album, in my
They
opinion.
did, but I don't think he would have won if they gave it to the second
No, yeah,
place person.
to me, robbed is a is too much of a word to associate that Grammy
Yeah,
win, that Grammy loss. I mean, in 2018 and this year as well. I don't think he was robbed. I don't think he was robbed.
yeah,
I love Utopia. It's an amazing album, but I understand why they picked Killer Mike. I get
yeah.
it. And to
I
be honest,
think
this year they had one of the best nominations for rap album of the year. I love all the five albums. I didn't like I was happy with any of the albums winning. So just to say that.
yeah. To address your original question of should Travis be in a different category, I feel like this would be a weird comparison. But you were saying how like it's kind of like pop music. It's kind of like if there was a really really great comedy movie that came out, and you're like it honestly deserves to be nominated for an Oscar for best movie. But the fact that it's a comedy album, it's like a little less serious. I think that's kind of what you're getting at with like Travis Scott because it's more pop and more melodic. It's not looked at with the critical nature that To Pimp a Butterfly is looked at, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, all these past hip hop winners. But it's funny because Cardi B did win, she won because it was the highest selling album, which Utopia was. So there's a lot of contradictions with it.
That's the thing. That's my issue with the Grammys. They're so inconsistent. Like if they gave it to one of the most popular albums, I get it every year. But listen, this year they gave it to the less popular
Popular album.
album, to the less popular artist. But then last year they didn't even nominate The Forever Story by JID. They didn't even
Crazy.
nominate Melt My Eyes by Denzel Curry, but
Crazy.
nominated DJ Khaled and Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow, yeah.
Where's the consistency? I don't
Yeah.
get it.
So that's the issue. And I guess we can have this discussion now. People think there should be subgenres, like should there be a trap album of the year or trap performance versus lyrical performance? But I think the issue with that, I think it's a great concept, is that artists bend genres now. So Travis Scott has songs in that album that are more boom bappy. He has West Side Gun on a song. So is that a trap album or is that a pop out? I think it's too hard to actually put these albums in categories because they
It's so hard to
blend.
define. It's so hard to define for sure. But I think it's the label and the artist that actually define where they want to submit the
Yeah,
album, like in which category. So if they thought it was best placed in rap, who are we to say
yeah.
differently? But
But I know Tyler complained that Igor was placed in hip hop. He's like, that was not a hip hop album. He's like, that was more of a pop album. So that's
hmm
another interesting debate.
yeah,
I don't know what the solution to the Grammys is, but another category is melodic rap performance. The people nominated for that were the winner was Lil Durk and Cole. Shout out to my goat, Cole. All My Life winning. SZA Low, Drake and 21, Spin About You, Doja Cat, Attention, Burna Boy and 21, Sitting on Top of the World. I'm not even sure is Burna Boy considered a rap artist. SZA is not a rap artist, so I don't know why these were nominated for melodic rap. Also, don't really know what that category means. Like, I guess I don't.
dude. And Doja Cat, I mean, Paint the Town Red was
That
actually
better.
look.
That
Paint
would,
the Town Red, I think, was nominated for best pop song. Or
was
what
it
it was in the pop category, but then how is attention in the rap
melodic
category?
rap? It doesn't make sense.
Melodic
And
rap.
honestly, "Spin About You" is kind of more of an R&B song than it is a rap song. So that category just has some work to do. They gotta they gotta
It's
fix that
such a
one.
mess. It's such a mess.
But here's the category I'm most angry about because album of the year at the end of the day, it wasn't a great mainstream year for hip hop, so they kind of chose wrong. But best rap song. Winner was Killer Mike, Scientist Engineers. Very Grammy type winning song. I could see it. I get it. The other nominations, Drake and 21, Rich Flex. Very much like that song. But now we get to the tricky area. Uzi, Just Wanna Rock. That is not a rap song. That is a dance song.
Hmm.
Like, I just want to rock, rock. Like, he's not spitting on that. Is that, I don't know why it's labeled as best rap song. Then we have Ice Spice, Nicki, Barbie World, which from a popularity standpoint, sure, but is it like a best rap song? And then lastly, we got Doja Cat Attention again. So I would love to hear a description of what best rap song means to them because
No, yeah, for sure.
you have the beautiful lyrical, you got all the syllables in there, scientists and engineers, and then you have four pop songs, basically.
Yeah, I
It's just
think obviously I'm not the best person to talk about that, but the Grammys, they were segregated. So if your skin is darker, they're more likely to put you in the rap and R&B categories rather than pop categories. It's been like that since the beginning. So it's hard
it's just
to tell.
best rap song. Like I just don't know how they make these choices because, like you said, it's just so inconsistent. And they chose the beautiful poetic song. So choose all There's a lot of beautiful music that was dropped last year that could have been nominated, and it's like you threw. And I love Ice Spice. She's a very fun artist, but like that was the best rap song of the year. And the Hillbillies, like, why are we throwing these
No
fun
way.
songs
No way.
to a critical award? Like I said before, it's like if a very joking movie. It's like if Barbie won the Oscar for movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I loved Barbie, but is it like should we be giving it this critical acclaim? It just feels weird.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
So then Jay-Z made a big speech that got everyone very excited. He talked about how Beyonce has the most Grammys ever, but has never won Grammy or Album of the Year. Then he also talked about hip hop not being shown in the show. But like, what are your thoughts about hip hop not making it onto prime time?
Just to say on that Beyonce subject, like he said everything we just did. They don't
Yeah.
have the consistency. So even by their standards, the most winning Grammy, the most Grammy winning artist
Hmm.
has never won an album of the year. So doesn't make any sense. Inconsistency. And in regards to hip hop not being in the television, I don't know. To be honest, they don't respect hip hop enough. It's been shown, it's been proven. But to be honest, I don't care in the sense that I just see the results on Twitter. I'm not
Yeah.
even watching. I haven't seen any footage. I've only seen Killer Mike receiving the Grammy, going on stage, and being arrested as well. But other
Yes.
than that, yeah.
I
Other
still have
than
no
that,
clue what
I've seen no
happened.
footage.
I still haven't figured out what happened to Killer Mike, but we will give him his flowers. A guy who's been working his ass off since, I'm sure before the 90s, but started up in the 90s, made it on Stankonia on the Outkast album. He
Yeah.
actually has a previous Grammy. And Run the Jewels, one of the bigger hip hop duos of the last decade, making album after album. So it's an awesome thing to see because hip hop is slowly turning into rock and roll in the way that rock and roll loves its older artists and they can tour for the rest of their lives in these big arenas. And people used to say hip hop's not going to be able to age like that. But now we're seeing people like Jay-Z, Nas winning a Grammy, which is incorrect. He should have won earlier in his career, but winning 30 years into his career and Killer Mike now winning this deep into his career, I think it's so cool for this genre that it's not just a young man's game anymore.
That's why politics are so involved in the Grammys because how
Yeah,
did Illmatic, it was never written, Stillmatic never win a Grammy, but
never.
then 30 years later, you have King's Disease winning a Grammy. They're
There's
just making up for it because the
They
quality of
are.
the listen, King's Disease, good album, but it's
Not
not Grammy worthy
wasn't Grammy winning. I
to
like
me.
the so I love Nas. The only album that I've really like consistently listened to of the last 5 years was Magic One. I thought that was an amazing album.
I love that album. Magic One is the best
Crazy.
album in his Hit Boy run.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we agree on that. Because these other albums, they're good, but there's a lot of they all kind of sound the same. There's a lot of filler, but something about the energy in Magic One. If there was any of those five that were gonna win a Grammy, I would have chose that one.
I don't
But
think they submitted Magic albums
uh,
to the Grammys, to be honest.
yeah, so that's part
But
of it. I know Drake stopped. Drake stopped for a little submitting his music, but now he's resubmitting it back. I don't know.
I think they were just submitted because 21 Savage wanted that.
Okay, yeah, that
Honestly,
probably makes sense. And who knows if
let's
Cole?
see if For All the Dogs gets any nominations for next year.
There's no way. If there is, I'm done. That's a bad
There's no
album.
way.
It's
You know, wait. You couldn't see First Person Shooter being nominated for Rap Song of the
oh
Year.
yes, I can see. All right, I thought you meant it's the whole album. I can see first person shooter
That makes a
being
lot of sense,
nominated.
right?
That makes sense. I cannot see the album being nominated. I think it's
When I
it's
say
just
the album is just
the song.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
songs or Yeah. Best rap
I
album probably. I mean, that shouldn't even be considered like a rap album for all the dogs. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean
it's
it's a
hard.
playlist.
It's hard.
It's He just makes playlists now. But we're
Let
gonna
me let
get
me ask you one thing before we move
okay.
on from this Grammy debate. How would you rank the five albums that were nominated for Rap Album of the Year?
Okay, let me look at this list. Uh for my own personal liking, because
Some
these are
hot
not that
takes coming.
because I wouldn't actually have chose these albums to have been the top
No,
five.
but listen. If you
This is my
were a Grammy critic, if you
Grammy.
were
Okay,
if you
that's two
were
different
there,
things.
if you were there making the decisions and voting, how would you rank these five albums?
If I was voting from like this is what should win a Grammy, I think they chose correct with Killer Mike. That was the most Grammy type. I would go in order: Killer Mike, Utopia, King's Disease, Metro, Her Loss. But if you ask me what my favorite album of those five was, it was actually Her Loss.
Hmm.
I liked like
Your loss.
music. Music's always for certain albums or for certain different things during your day. Her Loss I play when I'm at the gym or I'm going out with friends and we're like drinking. It's great for what it came to
No,
do.
yeah, for sure. A lot of replay value on that
A
album.
lot of replay value. Killer Mike, I listened to it. I really liked it, but it's a very intense project, so it's not something I'm revisiting as much. But like,
Hmm.
they're two completely different types of albums, which is why it's weird to nominate them in the same category because it's like one's to pregame with and one's to go cry with.
Yeah, like if they have a best melodic rap song, why don't they have a best melodic album, rap album? Maybe that
So
would make sense.
that I think is better than putting Travis in pop. But yeah, I like that better. Putting in melodic rap performance or melodic rap album. But
Maybe.
to get into our weekly staple, we like to catch up and select a playlist title to kind of talk about how we're feeling and what music is highlighting our playlist this week. So take it away, Mavi. What is highlighting the playlist?
So this song is basically from a friend of mine. He's Portuguese, and this was a song that he played for the first time in a concert in a show that I organized. I was actually the
Oh
organizer
shit!
for a show, and he was one of the artists. It was a show based around emerging artists, and he was one of them. And he actually played that song before it was released, officially released. And last week they released a song with a music video. It's amazing. It's Galrito and Champ Vão. I love it, and I think they did a great job.
Word. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out after. For me this week, I want to shout out 1G West, his song and album Turbo. The song Turbo was my favorite of the album. Very much the J. Cole, Kendrick, Mac Miller vibe. Layered vocals, very catchy choruses, storytelling rap, boom bappy, great beat selection. All around great album. So shout out to 1G West. Thank you for submitting that song. And to any other artist who sees this, please send me your music because we are constantly looking for people to potentially interview, to highlight on the episode or in something else. So yeah, send us your music. But now, let's get into something that I think is one of the coolest things. I love seeing people in the hip hop Twitter community win. You interviewed one of the best artists of this generation, bringing that boom bap back. He might have a classic album, depending on who you talk to. You interviewed Rome Streetz Backstage. How did that come together?
What an insane experience, man! One of the best nights of my life, no doubts about that. So basically, Rome Streetz was doing a show in Portugal, and I was, so I started doing real life content last year
Mm-hmm.
in specific festivals here in Portugal. So I went and saw the Kendrick Lamar concerts, and I recorded content for like with the fans and asking
Yeah.
questions in that quiz. It was like a quiz type of video.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Rome Streetz actually announced that he was coming to Portugal, I was like, okay, I might get a chance to actually, interview him, maybe meet him. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but I just went there the night of the show without knowing anyone, without having any contacts whatsoever. Me and my girlfriend, she's the best. She's just always with me. She doesn't even listen to hip hop, but she does it to support me. And she basically was my camera woman. and she's also a journalist, so she had like an official media
Uh-huh.
card, journalist card. So, and then we went to talk to the security, and we explained our situation, like, oh, we are journalists, hip hop journalists. We're trying to get this interview with Rome Streetz. Could you help us? Do you know someone that could talk to us? And she said, wait a minute, I'm going to bring someone out from the festival. So yeah, we waited for like 20 minutes, and then she actually helped us. She brought like the communications coordinator of the festival, and she was super nice. She was Portuguese, and she said, "Look, I can't directly get you this interview. I can't directly let you speak to him, but what I can do is get you a media pass. So you can come with me, come to our office, and we'll get you guys a media pass, just so to see if you can enter backstage and maybe interact with him." So she was super nice. She gave us merch as well from the festival, media passes. And then, as we got to the Rome Streetz concerts, they were not letting us backstage. Even with the media pass, they were not making it possible. So it started to get hard. Me and my girlfriend were wondering what we could do. We were just trying to enjoy the show, but at the same time trying to figure out a plan on how to get this right, because then we were afraid that he would leave the festival and we didn't grab him. So basically I saw someone exiting the backstage. So I just went and talked to him, to be honest. I told him, look, I explained the situation again. We're hip hop journalists. I told him I had already interviewed artists, which is a lie.
Yeah, that's a
But I
hey,
just
that's a
have to
great
give
move.
myself some credibility there. And he said, okay, look, I can't do anything right now, but I'll see what I can do. Just wait right there where you are, and let's see if he can do something. If he can do something after the show. So just wait after the show. Wait there, be still, and wait. I was like, okay, no problems. Thank you, man. Thank you. So then the show went on. We were waiting, anxious, super nervous. I was just hoping we could get that done. I wasn't going to leave that festival without getting that interview. I was determined by then.
Determination. There we go.
Yeah, and my girlfriend also gave me the idea, and she said, "Look, let's just start recording content. Let's just start talking with people. I know you don't know what to say. I know you don't have questions for the fans, but let's just pretend. Let's just see if we can grab some attention." So then we started recording, making as much noise as possible. And so yeah, I don't know if that worked or not, but that was just something that we did as well. So in the end, so the concert was over, the show was over, and I was waiting. I was waiting for a queue. I was waiting for someone to talk to me. And then I saw Rome Streetz manager selling. He was selling tapes about tapes of unreleased music. So he was selling it to fans. He was talking with fans. And then I called him over. I said, "Hey, look, I'm Mavi." And as soon as I said Mavi, he said, "Oh, you're doing the interview, right?" And I said, "Oh,
Hey.
yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly it." And he said, "Oh, okay, come inside, come backstage." So we tried and go backstage, but the security weren't letting us, even with him saying that. But then we insisted and talked to him again, and he said, "Let them in. Like, they're with us. There's no problem."
Get him in there.
And then we got in backstage. Rome was still signing some T-shirts and signing some merch. So then, yeah, finally, I was able to speak with Rome Streetz, and he said, "Oh yeah, just come backstage with us. Just come to our dressing room. It's quiet there. We can easily speak and have a better conversation." And I was like, perfect. Like, that's exactly what I want. So then we were escorted by security through the center of Lisbon, like the main place in Lisbon. We were going through this, like we were with the security, with the manager, with Rome Streetz, just walking as if we were in the same team. So yeah, amazing experience. Then we went backstage. They were chill. The manager was amazing. Shout out Coach Bombay. And yeah, they started asking some questions about the West Side Gun album, and then You Pray for Me, because
Uh-huh.
it had just been released in that time, and they asked for my honest opinion, and then I showed him my account on Twitter, and he said, "Oh, I've seen your page." Like, he recognized my account actually, and
That's crazy.
I wondered, why aren't you following me yet? Like, if you've seen my page, if you're lurking, what happened? And then he said, "Oh, in the end, I'll follow you. My phone is without battery." And I said, "Okay, no problem. Don't worry." So yeah, and then that was it. The interview started. They gave us all the time in the world. They were super nice. Didn't rush anything. They were just chill and replied to everything. So amazing experience. I was so happy that night. Like, just having that feeling of not knowing anyone, not having any connections, and just being able to get that done independently was awesome.
That's that's such an awesome story. I love the theme of fake it till you make it, and I love that you said that you were already interviewing rappers. That's really good off the top of your head to think about that. I I feel like most people don't know this, but for artists that aren't huge mainstream artists, if you shoot your shot, like there's a chance you can do something like you did. And I think more people can realize that if an artist is coming to your town, like if their DMs are open on Twitter, like just shoot it. In high school, I reached out to Taylor Bennett, Chance the Rapper's brother, and
Mm,
I was going to see his show. It was like a 500 person show, and I was like, "Can I interview you?" I was like 14 years old, and I got to go on his tour bus, and
really?
that started like my kind of journalism, my love for journalism and interviewing people. But
That's so funny.
that's a very exciting story. I'm happy to hear that Rome is the man. And recently, you've had some conversations with ScHoolboy Q on Twitter because Rome did say that he does want to work with Q, Kendrick, JID, and you are now possibly the middleman for a big collaboration in hip hop. Tell us about it.
So that is honestly, that could be my biggest contribution to hip hop, and as of right now, you know. In
There we
their
go.
interview, I asked a question that said, "What's your dream collaboration like? Who would you like to work with right now outside of Griselda?" And he said those artists that you mentioned. And then a few months later, I used a photo of that. I used basically the contents of that
Interview.
answer to
Yeah.
make a post on Twitter. I thought it maybe it could get some attention. Maybe one of the artists could see that, and they actually did. ScHoolboy Q saw the tweet, and he quoted over my tweet and said, he said something like, "Yeah, let's get it done," or um, I, I can't remember the exact words, but basically he wanted to make that collaboration happen. And then Rome obviously replied, "Yeah, let's get it done." So then they followed back each other, and the next you know, a couple weeks later, they're posting a picture together in the studio.
Crazy.
So I just hope they release that song, or that, I don't know what they did. I don't know. I asked for exclusive. I
As the
actually asked for
liaison.
exclusive information, but they didn't give it to me. So I just hope they officially release that, because it's going to be amazing. Come on, dude.
It's gonna be crazy.
In the interview, when he said with ScHoolboy Q, I looked at his manager and I said, "Oh my God, with the Alchemist, with the Alchemist, like, just imagine, because ScHoolboy Q and Alchemist have amazing songs together.
Amazing.
So those three guys would make such an amazing hip hop song. Like, let's see what happens.
That is that'd be amazing. I'm really excited for Blue Lips. I think it's dropping March 1st, It's dropping sometime in March.
March
Uh,
1st, yeah.
I
Did you
actually
listen to those new songs?
yes, I really loved the one that was more like poetic and I'm
Yeah, me
forgetting the
too.
titles.
Blue Slides.
Yeah, Blue Slides. Um, Beautiful song. Q is an amazing artist, and I saw someone on Twitter because I mean this with all respect with Q, but someone said that he thinks with this album, ScHoolboy Q can become a top five artist of this generation. Personally, I don't know if he has the output of the last decade to be able to be considered top five. But what does he mean to you as an artist? Is he one of your favorites?
Let me just say that, regarding I just wanted to talk about the both of the songs that he
Yeah.
dropped a little bit. So I love Blue Slides as well. Very poetic. I think he worked on his rapping a lot. I think he
Hmm.
got better, to be honest, on that song. He's just spitting. I love the delivery. His voice is very sharp right now. It's
Yeah.
not clumsy. It's not dreamy. So I love that song. And the other one, it was called Back in Love, I think.
Yeah.
That song, it's not as good, but also it's not officially going to be on the album because I
Oh,
checked the
okay.
track list
It
and I
wasn't on there.
compared. Yeah, we already have the song names. So Blue Slides is in the track list, but the other one isn't. So I think that's a very good
Yeah.
sign that he released an official song that's going to be on the album, but then also released like a Lucy, like a
Yeah.
throwaway. So I think I've just been loving his rollout. He's one of those artists that has no bullshit. He's just going to
Uh,
give you the songs, give you the rollout, and be very creative and very interesting as well with the rollout. So
yeah.
you don't need to be this mysterious type. You don't need to delay
I
and
hate it.
delay and delay for people to be hyped for your music, man. If we've already been waiting for so many years, people are going to tap in no matter what. So I don't get this Playboy Cardi stuff. It's annoying.
I well, first I'll say the music videos were really cool too. Really
Yeah,
love
the
the
music
music
videos
videos.
were yeah for
To
Blue
the
Slide especially.
yeah, yeah. But to the mysterious artist point, it is so annoying because I view it as the artists thinking they're kind of just like better than people sometimes. Sometimes they're actually just genuinely private people. Kendrick and J. Cole seem to be genuinely just chilling with their families, then they go on tour. We're not talking about those guys. But like Playboy Cardi going on an interview and not speaking for hours while the interviewer is asking him questions, it's just like, what's the point? I actually just watched Joe Budden talking about the Grammy performance, which we forgot to talk about. That's my fault. Travis's Grammy performance was not
Oh,
good. It was not good. It was really bad. My
he
mom
was
was like,
so angry, man. I felt bad for him.
it's just like wasn't the song I think he should have performed because Fiend, like you're not performing for a bunch of teenagers right now. You're at like
Yeah.
a Grammy, like there's a bunch of suits there, and my mom's like, why is this guy yelling Bean, Bean? But but I just
That's
saw
so funny.
she's like, I could do
Being
that, but I just saw a Joe Budden clip, and he was talking about how when Playboy Cardi came on the stage, he's like wearing a mask or something. It's like people don't know who you like. No one was excited in the audience because they're like, "Who's this guy hiding in the top of the stage?" And it's just like, be a person, dude. Like, I like
no,
artists who
listen,
show their
Playboy Cardi's ego is through the roof. Like that guy's so annoying, to be honest. The worst thing about everything that you said, you didn't even mention the worst thing he has done until now, in my opinion, which recently was to cancel and to
the
delay the
tours.
entire tour.
So annoying. That's something we talk about on the show a lot because that's like people are paying money.
Yeah,
They're getting babysitters. They're getting hotel
exactly.
flights, and you are. This is
It's
like this is
insane. It's insane. So disrespectful. So
it's the
disrespectful.
it's the way that we basically invest in artists. We are paying our hard-earned money. People will go in the snow, wait in line for you, and if you're sick, whatever. But I think it's like the third time he's pushed back the tour, and at a certain point, it's like you're just a dick.
You know, not only with the fans and the people that actually want to see the shows, but imagine the people that are working with him that actually have a whole schedule blocked out to work with him and are waiting for that. Maybe they need to get paid for that, and
Yeah,
maybe they didn't go to other jobs or other opportunities because they
yeah.
blocked those dates. So it's just a mess. He doesn't care about anyone. He doesn't care about anything, and I don't know. It's just I'm kind of over Playboy Cardi right now.
Yeah, I'm not. So another artist who I'm slowly, he's the GOAT, but I'm losing excitement for the album. So Vultures by Kanye is supposed to drop this Friday. For some reason, I actually think it will drop. Today he dropped a music video for that the Northwest, like Miss Westy. And someone said, why don't I see people really talking about the music video? And honestly, Kanye did a poor job at capitalizing on how popular that song got on TikTok because he dropped the music video, and I don't think people really care. Like out of all the Kanye rollouts
Really?
we've seen recently, I just feel like Vultures is losing its hype. And maybe we'll see once it drops. Maybe it'll be huge as in Kanye albums
I don't
expected it to
know. I
be.
think the last time I checked, the video already had 100K likes on YouTube. and it had
How
been
many views was it, if you
the
know?
view count didn't even wasn't even registering updating.
Like how would you rate your excitement level for this album?
Mm, I don't have high expectations for this album. I think
Yeah.
it will be fun. I'll definitely listen to that album, but I don't know, maybe a 6, 7.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and it's sad because Kanye is probably like the best artist like, ever. But if you keep teasing an album and then you keep pushing it back, just announce the
Yeah.
album when it's done. Just wait, finish the work, and then do a super cool rollout or do whatever you want to do when you're Kanye West. But this one seems even weirder than
What I heard is that, and that's coming from artists like Playboy Cardi as well. What I've heard is that they like the pressure of the world waiting for them, and they
yeah.
just like the pressure. That's what I heard.
But I guess they're not performing because they keep pushing back on. It's one
Yeah,
thing to
yeah,
push
for
back
sure.
once, but to push it back like 5 times, yo, just chill out, finish the album. You already put the pressure on the first drop date you missed, but you don't need to make like 5 different release dates. We get it. Just if you announce one release date and you miss it, the pressure's on. But you don't need to announce 4 other release dates. The pressure's already on. Just wait. Just finish the album.
He just doesn't give a fuck. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Can
you can
I
curse. Yeah, yeah.
curse? He doesn't give a fuck. Like he's always late to shows as well. Like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours late, and that just shows they're very similar. Playboy Cardi and Cardi. Playboy Cardi and
And
Kanye.
Kanye. Yeah, and just sadly, Kanye's music hasn't like even the snippets. I'm a Freddie Gibbs stan. That is top 5 rapper for me
Really?
ever. Huge Freddie Gibbs fan, and it was
Top
a really
what?
good
Top what?
for me personal taste. This is not like who I think. You know what? I'm gonna confidently say it. I think Freddie Gibbs. He's my top 5 rapper. He's got classics. This is not the debate I meant to bring up, but we're talking Bandana, Pinata, Alfredo, SSS. If you don't like SSS, that's whatever. But he's got 3 classics. But are you not a Freddie Gibbs fan?
Top 5 rapper of all time, Freddie
for
Gibbs.
for me, for my enjoyment,
Look, he makes
I love
amazing
Freddie
music.
Gibbs.
He makes
That was
amazing music, but no, just no.
that that wasn't the debate I was trying to start. My point was going to be that even his Kanye snippet, which was a dope verse, the song
Yeah.
didn't really sound that crazy to me. Where I'm like, I can't wait for that to come out. Which is kind of just I look forward to Kanye. Like I love his rapping, but at this point of his career, he doesn't seem to care that much about rapping. We got a song
Hmm.
like he hasn't rapped that well in a
No, yeah,
while.
he's more of a curator right
Sure,
now.
but the beats also aren't really doing it for me recently. They're not.
Mm, you don't think the production on Donda is good?
I don't really listen to many songs on Donda. And I think something's changed where Kanye has like a million producers on one song now, and it used to be
Yeah.
more, which is cool, but like you don't always need that many people working on one song.
No, yeah, right now
And
Kanye
it,
has a million producers. Kanye has a million songwriters. So it's just
and
very hard to see what he actually does.
yeah, I miss when
I get your
Kanye
point.
I
I
miss
get
when
your point.
Kanye was the one who was making the majority of the beat, and then he brought in Timbaland to help him do the drums or something. But
Mm.
I want him to be the orchestrator of it. And sometimes it seems like now he's letting his collaborators. He used to be ahead of the curve, making what music was going to be, and now I feel like he's following trends. And I like Kanye when he is making the trends, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I still don't think he's following trends. I think he's still trying to be innovative and just be out of the box as much as he can. So I think he really tries that. But what's annoying to me honestly is that he's fallen back so he's not the forefront of an album anymore. He's not the forefront of a song anymore. Even with the
Yeah,
song that just came out with his kid Northwest, I think he only has a small verse at the end.
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel you on that.
It's a little bit annoying, but yeah.
So this wasn't a question I had written down, but based on that Freddie Gibbs conversation, now I'm curious. So I think I have about 20 rappers who are in my top 5. I say very casually, that's a top
Oh,
5 artist
okay.
for me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
okay, okay. I get it. I get it now.
Like if I
I
can
get it.
name my top 5 rappers, like it'd be like Kendrick, Cole, Jay Z, Mac Miller, JID, Freddie Gibbs, Tyler the Creator. Like there's so many in my top 5. Who are your, if you can try your best, who are your big artists?
So I think it depends on the way that I look at it. Are you asking
This is
my favorites?
your personal, not who you think is objectively the best. If we're talking objective, you can throw your biggies, your Pacs, your whatever. Who is your personal top artists that are
Okay, so
rappers?
maybe top five artists that I listen to more. I've definitely got to say J. Cole. J. Cole is
Cole
in
Will.
there. I listen to a J. Cole album probably every week. Probably every
What's
week.
your favorite Cole album?
Oh my God! Don't do that. Don't do that.
I think I'm of the
They're my
age.
kids. They're my kids.
I
I
think I'm
can't
of
pick.
the age where I confidently will say it's For Your Eyes Only for me. Even though I got 2014 behind me, I
I
think
think
that's
For
what.
Your Eyes Only. It's honestly the one I replay less. It has the worst replay value out of all of them, but you just can't compete with that title track. You can't compete with Change.
So good.
Those are two of his best songs ever.
Ch- yeah,
But
Change is my favorite, and For Your
She's
Eyes Only.
Mine Part 1 and She's Mine Part 2. I don't really
Beautiful.
care for those tracks, honestly. They're not
So
bad, but I don't really care for them. Folding Clothes though it's
it's a
overhated.
good song. It's a good song.
Folding
So
Clothes is overhated.
an underrated part of music is that, for example, I haven't been in romantic love before. So I listen to love songs, but a whole world will be opened up to me when I fall in love. So the same way
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think if you have kids, She Is Mine part
Ooh,
1 and 2 are
yeah.
probably so amazing to you. But right
Facts.
now we don't have kids. So it's like
Facts.
this is a I think it's a good song, but it doesn't touch me as much as when I listen to it 20 years from now and I'm like, I
No,
get
that's
where
a
Cole was coming
fact.
from.
Like For Your Eyes Only will hit harder when I have a kid, probably.
And I do want you to finish your ranking, but I'll make one more. I don't even think it's a hot take, and you're a Cole fan, so I think you will agree. KOD is overhated and has some of Cole's best songs. People just get mad, and people say it's his attempt at trap albums. There's only like 3 trap beats on it: KOD, Motivate, and ATM. The only thing I can see people not liking about the album is that ATM and Motivate are very similar songs, but then you have Brackets. I wrote this down the other day. Oh, I have it right here. Brackets, Kevin's Heart, Once an Addict, Friend, Window Pane, 1985. Those are some of Cole's best songs, I think. So I don't like the KOD hate.
Listen, I respect KOD. I think it was a great attempt at a concept album. But to be honest, I think it's his worst.
I don't
I
think it's.
think it doesn't
I
mean
think
it's
that.
bad. I'm
I know
not
what you mean.
saying
Yeah, yeah.
what?
I know what you mean. Like he's so great that his worst album isn't a bad
I
album, but
love all
still.
of his albums, but listen, it's honestly annoying that some of his newer fans actually put KOD over Sideline Story, over
I
Born
do.
Sinner. These albums to me are so underrated. So
Sidelines.
underrated.
I think Sideline Story. The word worst is a bad word because it's not bad. It is my
Yeah,
least.
exactly.
It's my least favorite of them. But let's continue with the other artists that you love.
But wait,
Who
let me just say though, Once an Addict is insane,
um
insane. Once an
amazing.
Addict is an amazing song.
That could be one of his best songs. Brackets, talking about the taxes,
Wait,
friends.
brackets. Wait, the second verse is way better. The first
Yeah,
verse is low key. The
it's
first verse
slow.
is kind. The first verse is kind of like if I didn't know there was an amazing verse after, it's kind of skippable.
Okay, I get what you mean there. I pay taxes, so many taxes. Where my dollars went? I love that one. And window pane. Ugh, that beat.
Window pane is amazing as well. Yeah.
His stepdaddy just had a daughter with another woman. Mama can't recover yet. It's so good. What else do we got in the top 5?
Okay, dude, listen, I'm one of those guys that really loves the big three. Like I
Okay,
just love the
there's
big
no
three.
shame in
I
it.
respect them. I love them. I hate the this one is clear of the other. I hate the this one is way better than the other. For me,
Yeah,
they're very on the
they're all
same
great.
level. Like they're all legends. They're all I love them all. They have amazing discographies. Each one of them you can listen to all day and every day. So I will put those three in my top five, and
Okay.
then Nas is definitely there. I gotta put
Okay.
Nas. Illmatic, the best rapper of all time for me. His discography is so amazing, and the longevity. How can you
Impressive.
release 6 albums of this caliber, 30 years into your career with Hit Boy, which is like a more of a modern
Yeah.
producer? It's just insane. And then for the last spot, I will go for a I'll go for a wild card because I think
Okay.
I'm already happy with my 4 picks. I'll go for a wild card and I will say maybe Andre. It's
Okay.
not really a wild card, but I don't
It's
know.
not a
It's
wild card.
hard. The fifth pick is hard. Could be anyone. Could
Yeah.
be Andre. Could be Future. Uh, could be a lot of rappers.
Yeah. I have. It's so hard to pick my like Cole is definitely my goat. That's my favorite artist. And then everyone else is just a shuffle of because I love so many discographies. I think
Yeah,
Kendrick has obviously a perfect discography. Tyler, I got Flower Boy and Call Me If You Get Lost behind me. Then you got Mac Miller's discography, but then I think Freddie Gibbs, I just find myself replaying. I know you don't love him that much. Replaying him
no,
so
no.
much.
I love Freddie Gibbs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I
He's
just
just
thought you said top five rappers
ever.
as in what you
Well,
think is the best.
it's funny, we've had this take I've made this take on the show many times. If you put Pinata, Alfredo, and Bandana in the 90s, Freddie Gibbs would have be talked about in a hugely different way. Because those are classic albums, but because they were made kind of after that era was at its peak, I think
Maybe.
they're still talked about as classics. But there's certain like if you put some of these Griselda albums in the '90s, they'd be talked about as some of the best rappers ever. I think
Hmm.
Conway and Benny, skill wise, are some of the best rappers ever. But it's harder because years later, that sound's not as popular.
No, that's a fair take. I think they definitely should be in the conversation for those top 50 best rap albums of all time. They should be in that conversation. But in terms of Freddie Gibbs, I love Freddie. His music, especially he's such a great album maker.
Yeah,
Of course, he has help with some of the best producers of all time, with Madlib
no
and
shame.
Alchemist.
Yeah.
But still, one thing I think is lacking from him to
Okay.
be considered in those discussions, for me,
Uh huh.
is the subject matter. For me, in
Changing.
terms of
Okay.
storytelling, in terms of subject matter that actually impacts you, that hits you, that it's relatable, like J. Cole does, like Kendrick does, he's not on that level for me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think it goes back to the Pusha T quote. Pusha T said that he's the Martin Scorsese of coke rap, and it's like all these guys do paint movies, and
Yeah.
maybe you could say they are similar movies with each album. And at the end of the day, people roast Cole for a song like Folding Clothes, but most people are just folding their clothes. So they enjoy that type of music because it is more relatable music. And at
No,
the
and
end of the day,
that song in the context of the album is so important because it's the song that it's not folding clothes, it's love. It's the love that he has for
yeah,
his partner. That's one of the few moments in the album that he shows love for the partner.
yeah.
So
I mean, some of these Griselda and Freddie Gibbs lines are some of the most evil things I've ever heard. But it goes back to that whole like Martin Scorsese thing. Like it is kind of like I'm watching a movie with my ears, and it is so interesting to hear these stories. I mean, Freddie says he put razors in your mouth and make you swallow with salt water. Excuse yourself from my table, and I'm like, that's mean. You're a mean dude. But
I
like these are
felt I felt the pain inside my
yeah.
mouth.
And he is he has one line on Alfredo. I'm really bad with song titles, but it's Skinny Shug. He talks about how he sold crack to someone who sold it to his uncle, and his uncle died, and he knew that he's the one who sold it. I'm like, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard, and
That's deep as fuck.
it's
That's
crazy.
terrible.
But I don't know. It's hard
When
because
he said evil lines, that's a fun game. Like when he said evil lines,
most evil line that
I
can be
just
interesting.
remembered the rock you in your face. No, how is it?
I know Benny has a
Stab you in your
line.
face, rock your brain with your nose bone. How is it?
Yes, I know. Yes, on I know
From
you're
Shook
talking the
Ones.
Mob Deep, yeah. And Benny has a line where he goes, he sold coke to a pregnant fiend, emotionless. I'm not a social worker. That's not why I sold this shit. And it's like, whoa, you're a bad dude, but you did what you had to do in whatever life you live. but it's crazy because I'm listening to it in my suburban house, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. But
Yeah.
that's what hip hop provides for us: stories from different people's backgrounds. That's why I love it. But Mavi, I want to give you a place as we close up to plug your socials, what you got coming, if there's any interviews coming, any content specific. But here's the floor.
So follow me everywhere. We're on TikTok, posting every day on TikTok. I'm on that TikTok right now, so follow me there. @name is Mavi. Everywhere on Instagram. I'm not that active, but Twitter, TikTok is my priority right now. So follow me there. And we have 3 shows this month. The
Let's
next
go.
one coming Friday, and it's black.
Wow.
Let's see what I can do. I'm working behind the scenes. Let's see what I can do. Nothing's done yet, but let's see. And then Mick Jenkins and then Mike.
I think you could get those interviews. I feel like they'd be open.
Mick Jenkins and Mike, maybe, but black will be hard. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, if you made it to the end of the episode, thank you so much for sticking around. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram. You know where we're at, Adam Dash. And we will see you next time. Peace.